Let's introduce these two players from Candydragons. It's going to be Amused, the Blue Zerg player, spawning in the lower section of Overgrowth in game number 2 of this best of 5.
Yeah, and his opponent in the top right from Team GdA, the French player, he's the other Protoss Chemo. Not too familiar with him, but once again a Protoss player being sent out here by the Frenchies. I don't think they're even the only French team to play in the DSCL Team League. Just take a brief brain check on that, because there's a lot of Dutch teams, that's for sure, but there's got to be other countries being represented as well. Yeah, we have a Russian team. And, oh, they are the only Frenchies. Oh
well. All I know of French is actually a couple of words, and then I know French fries, and that's it.
yeah, I never really figured out what was so French about French fries, but I guess it's
well,
just
me neither, come to think of it. But they always told us in school in English lessons that that's French fries. That's you don't call them just anything else. That's French fries, and in Britain apparently they call it chips or something like that.
Exactly. My English teacher was British in her way of teaching English, so she would prefer to use the term chips, because she presumed that we would be mostly communicating English from people from the UK rather than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, and instead of that, you're mostly communicating with people from Germany, Slovakia, Russia, in English.
Anywhere, really.
Yeah, she couldn't have been more wrong, right?
Yeah, but to be fair.
So, pool first into a hatchery, being blocked a little bit by Kim here. Chemo, excuse me.
Is actually doing quite the work, and now he needs to go out. Let's see if he can actually survive this. Yeah, he will be able to get away, actually. Sometimes you see, I saw this in another game where there was only one drone, and the probe was being, it wasn't being microed, it was on patrol. Some players will do like a hexagonal pattern with the probe to block it, and he actually predicted like each of the points in each of the turning points, and he kept microing his drone towards those points where the probe turned to intercept it, and he got like a lot of hits off in a very short amount of time.
That's actually, I learned this trick by watching Idra play way back when. He was doing this quite a lot, attacking with 2 drones and only microing the one, and trying to intercept the probe. Yeah. So, second hatchery is down. The third hatchery is down as well. Gas has been queued up in the meantime, however, so speed is on the horizon. Speed for the lanes, the metabolic boost. I strongly, just a personal preference, I strongly dislike taking such a fast third base versus gateway openings. I strongly dislike that, especially if it's after a pool first. I mean, if it's 3 hatch before pool, it can work out if you know what you're doing, but I strongly dislike that after pool first openings. I just don't think it's suited well enough versus gateway openings, as opposed versus forge openings.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, 3 hatch before pool, I still feel it's quite good against gateway openings, but it's just very important, because your opponent attacks faster than with forge, is that you need to actually be very vigilant with scouting and know what your opponent is doing. If you cannot react properly to your opponent's strategy, you just kind of die, and you end up with unupgraded roaches on the other side of the map, where your opponent has a whole bunch of sentries and +2 blink stalkers, and just kind of kills your army.
Yeah, and we have 3 additional gateways being built at the front, whereas it could have been a Stargate there, or 2 gateways in a forge, or anything else really, but 3 additional gateways is kind of indicative of a pressure build here coming from Chemo. He did try to send out a probe out on the map multiple times in the past 2 minutes, and every single time Amused pounced on that. He has very good scouting. But this time around, that probe is going to slip past and probably start building a couple of pylons. There's the first one. The lanes are just
immediately on top of it. Nice scouting here by Chemo, working on his map presence, and a bit of luck as well, because most of his overlords are on the other side of the map, so he couldn't have really seen this coming otherwise, and even the Mothership Core being chased away.
Yeah,
is he going to cancel the pylon?
No, he's not. He actually lets that one finish. Works in 2 Zots. And they do warp in time. Is the pylon going to stay up? No, it is not. It does go down. The probe immediately builds another one, but this is going to slow down Chemo's attack quite a lot. He cannot afford to warp in any more units if he does not want to skip probes, so he builds 2 additional pylons. And now the creep is connecting those 2 bases pretty much, so the defense is going to be easier here for the Zerg player Amuse. And on top of that, the speed is finished as well for the Lynx, so unfortunately for him, he just made a round of drones, and he is focusing on Spinecrawler defense. Now, let me tell you, Zealots are very good versus Spinecrawlers.
There's only 2 Zealots in this army right now, though. And actually, in this case, they're pretty much good against anything. Spinecrawlers still haven't finished, and Chemo is actually just going to steamroll straight through the Spinecrawlers, it seems. Drones may need to be pulled off the line, but the Time Warp is already in position to block this off. Here they come. Nice force field on the ramp. Actually blocks quite a few links from coming down there. So much damage being dealt here to the Zerg economy. One Spinecrawler just barely finished, but it only gets 2 shots off before it actually gets shot down. So it's still going to down on the drones.
This is an unrecoverable position here for Amuse, because there's still a lot of force field energy remaining on the sentries. As long as those force fields do keep coming down on top of that ramp, Amuse cannot defend, because he's pretty much lacking a third of his production here, and there's the GG being called. Chemo takes another point for GdA and secures a nice lead for them in the form of